Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Carl from Planet 40k and today we'll be going through the new Warlord traits within the new Necron Codex. So as standard you get the choice of 6 generic Warlord traits that are within the Codex. There's also dynasty specific Warlord traits to be used if your faction is all from a particular dynasty. So starting off with the standard Necron Warlord traits. Number 1, Enduring Will. Each time an attack is allocated to the Warlord, subtract 1 from their damage to a minimum of 1. So this goes unchanged from the previous edition of the Codex. Not a bad option, especially as there's a vast amount of multi-damage weapons within the game now. So not a bad option. Number 2, Eternal Madness. Each time this Warlord makes a melee attack, you can reroll wound rolls. So this one's slightly been buffed since the previous edition, as it's now all wound rolls rather than the turn he charged or was charged. So it's also a very solid trait for your Scorpet Destroyer Lord in particular. Number 3, Immortal Pride. Each time this Warlord loses a wound to a mortal wound, roll a d6 and on a 5+ the wound is not lost. Also, the Warlord has the following aura ability. While a friendly core unit is within 6 inches, each combat attrition test ignores modifiers. So this trait has completely changed since the last book. This only works on mortal wounds, so that's quite situational, and the modifiers for the combat attrition tests are going to be quite rare, so I'm not going to be going for this one. Number 4, Thrall of the Silent King. So you add 3 inch to the range of this Warlord's aura abilities to a max of 9 inch. In addition, he may use My Will Be Done, the Lord's Will or Adaptive Strategy, and you can select one friendly core unit within 12 rather than 9. So this one's almost stayed the same. It's good for your Royal Wardens to use the Adaptive Strategy or your Warlords with the My Will Be Done. But to be honest, most core units will probably be clumped up quite tight to your characters anyway, so that extra 3 inch isn't going to be that great. Number 5, Implacable Conqueror. Any friendly core units within 6 can reroll charge rolls. So this goes almost unchanged but now only works on core units, so it doesn't apply to your flayed ones unfortunately. Number 6, Honourable Combatant. In the fight phase, each time your Warlord is selected to fight, it may choose to select an enemy character unit, and until the end of the phase you add 2 attacks to your Warlord, but you can only attack that particular enemy character. So this used to be D3 attacks, now it's a flat 2. It's not a bad option as the Necron characters are just sort of okay in combat, so this does give them a bit more oomph, as they seem to lack in attacks. So it sort of levels the playing field slightly there. Okay, that's the 6 generic Warlord traits. Before we move on to the Dynasty specific traits, I just wanted to take 30 seconds to let you all know about our Patreon service that we recently launched. Link is in the description. We're looking to evolve the channel to the point where we can start filming battle reports. So we've launched a Patreon to kickstart that. There's exclusive benefits to being a patron with us, so go check that out if you haven't already. Okay, so moving on to the Dynasty specific Warlord traits. Firstly, you've got the Mefrit trait, Merciless Tyrant, which is add 1 to your strength and attacks of your Warlord. So obviously this is nice on your combat characters, your Scorpet Lords. Second, we've got the Mefrit trait, Skin of Living Gold, which is at any time an attack is made against your Warlord, subtract 1 to the hit rolls. So this is also good, keeping your Warlord alive, making him harder to hit. Might not necessarily save him in a battle, but a lot of the time it will. The Nilak Dynasty has a Warlord trait called Precognitive Strike. At the start of the fight phase, if this Warlord is within engagement range of an enemy unit, it can fight first. So I think I prefer this one to the Nefrit one, as you can potentially kill off whoever's attacking before they're allowed to swing. Although there's quite a lot of similar rules like this within the game, so they may cancel each other out. And the Novak Dynasty has Blood-Fueled Fury, which is each time a Warlord makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound in addition to the normal damage. So very handy against those characters and units that have an infant save, because it assists in chipping away at them. So I do like that one. The Saltec trait, Hyperlogical Strategist. So while your Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point, roll a d6, and on a 5+ you get your CP refunded. So I think you'll see a lot of this in tournament builds and competitive lists, as CP seems to make or break a game currently. Finally, the Zwakan Dynasty trait, the TRIACH'S will. So you can select 4 command protocols pre-battle instead of 5, and you can reuse one of them that you've already done. So effectively you're assigning that chosen command protocol to 2 battle rounds instead of 1. So this one has a high potential of being very good if you plan it right. I'd say this one gears more towards those really good players of the game, but even if you're not a top player, it's still very handy as an ace up your sleeve. So it's a good one, that one. So there you have it, that's the Warlord traits within the new Codex. Do you have any favourites here? Do you see any combos that you can use with Dynasty codes and the custom Dynasty codes? Like I said in the previous vid, put your top combos down in the comments below and I'll pin the best combo up at the top of the comments. If you're enjoying seeing this content, you'll be glad to know there's a lot more coming your way. Soon we're going to be starting to do the Planet 40k 5-star reviews on each unit, just like we did with the Indominus box set. So we've just currently released our Patreon service, which went live last week. The link's in the description. Just head over to our Patreon and have a browse at our exclusive benefits that our Patreon service provides. Thank you for all our current patrons that are already subscribed. It's much appreciated. So hit that subscribe button if you're new and smash the like button to help support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.